Millions of people start their diets by cutting carbohydrates every single year. And yet, millions of people keep quitting every single year as well. They reset. I'm going to start Monday. They try again and again and again. And eventually, they give up. So if low carb is the answer, why does it keep leading to the same results, which is no results? Well, I always blame social media on this channel, and you know exactly what I mean. You open Instagram, the first thing you see is keto warriors, low carb supplements, carnivore, this and that, right? It's everywhere. One thing they all have in common, there's someone behind all of these brands making big buck. They're not doing it to help you. Nah, they want to get rich. They tell you you have a problem and they have the solution. Buy my product. But here's what I'm going to tell you today. I'm going to tell you what 10 years of me working in this industry, one-to-one, very closely with people on their diets, their nutrition, their training, etc., on optimizing their results, what that has taught me. Okay? I am not going to try and sell you anything. I got no products to sell. I'm just here to help you. That's all it is. And if you find this helpful, drop me a comment, drop me a like, maybe a subscribe. Completely up to you. That's what I can gain out of this. And maybe even know that I help someone out there. And let's get one thing straight once and for all. The advice I'm going to give you today is based on real life implementation, not science lab conditions, not textbook theory. No, real life. Your everyday type of person, waking up Monday morning, going to work, having weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, real people with busy schedules, stressful everyday life. And here's a fact. In the real world, a low-carb diet fails because the best diet for anyone in this world is the diet they can keep doing. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I'll be back again next week. That's all you need to know. Okay. And that is true, by the way. But let's break it down. First up, what really happens when someone decides to cut carbohydrates out of their life? What are the results they initially see? There's the obvious, complete glycogen depletion, meaning that the energy you store in your muscles, glycogen, the water that's being stored with, right? So there's a glycogen, it's the carbohydrates, every gram of glycogen gets stored with 4 grams of water. That's all going to deplete. So you're going to lose a ton of water weight, not body fat. So you step on the scale and you see, whoa, I lost weight. And that's sort of that fake validation that I must have lost body fat. No, you didn't. You just lost water, something that you can quickly regain again tomorrow. And then now, by you cutting carbs from your diet, all of a sudden you have a bunch of previous foods that you ate, which I will consider shitty, that you can't eat anymore. You can't eat pizza, you can't eat burgers, you can't eat all of these things that tends to pack a lot of calories on. And all of a sudden, it gets much easier to create a calorie deficit every day. So you feel disciplined, you feel clean, and it's a sense of early momentum, motivation. Yes! Wait, all these things sounds really positive. What could possibly be wrong about this? Well, hold up a second. Let's take it one step further. Imagine now you're a few weeks into your low-carb diet or your keto diet, brand it whatever you want. You're keeping carbohydrates really low, high fat, high protein. Oh, who knows? You might just be going completely low calories, just cutting carbs and just eating no calories at all. I don't know how you would do it, but either way, low carb, what happens a few weeks after starting? Automatically, obviously, your training results are going to go because the body doesn't have its preferred source of energy. And that reduced training intensity is going to have significant impact on the stimulus and the adaptation that you have from the gym, aka gym gains. Looking at your physique, you're going to have low glycogen, meaning that you're going to have completely flat muscles. So whereas before you might have had muscles you could show off, now they're just going to seem less impressive somehow. Not necessarily because you lost muscle mass, but just because there's no puff in them. You walk around every day and you just feel more fatigued. You don't have that oomph of energy. You start attending the social events again that you completely cut out the first few weeks, and then you'll find yourself like, I can't eat bread, I can't eat rice. This is getting real hard by now. And it's hard to find the positivity here. And that constant battle with yourself, having to say no again and again and again, just really leads to decision fatigue. And your discipline, oh man, it's getting overworked at this point. So all of a sudden now, this what started as a dedication to lose weight now has become a constant battle. And you get obsessed with food all of a sudden because there's all of this food you can't eat and you just really want to eat it. And everyone around you are eating it, enjoying it as well. You're struggling at this point. You see, you start to realize now that cutting carbs is not about how hard or easy it is in the first week. It's about how hard it gets in the end of month 1, 2, and 3. You start thinking to yourself, why the hell did I decide to do this? If you even make it to month 3, that is. And then leading me on to the next point, and this is where my coaching experience really comes in, because I've seen so many people throughout my career having come to me and tell me about the experiences of them doing these unfortunate fad diets or extreme diets, asking me for help to help them because they just can't lose weight. They keep failing. And this next point is based on their experiences, what they have all told me. Again, real life examples. They come to me with like a fear of carbs because they've been trying to fight carbs for so long. They told themselves that carbohydrates is equal fat loss or is equal fat gain if they eat it. Meaning that when they add carbohydrates into their diet, the weight goes back up. When they remove carbohydrates, their weight goes down. So every day when they see carbs, they just see restriction. They start this like very black and white thinking when it comes to nutrition. It's not about healthy or unhealthy. It's just about carb or no carb. Very unfortunate weekend blowout behavior also starts happening because this is not sustainable for real life people. You're going to break at one point. And these people, when they then break, they go completely overboard. And you can imagine if you come from not having carbs for a few months or a few weeks, and then you all of a sudden eat 1,000 grams of carbohydrates over the weekend, your body weight is going to go poo. And then when they step on the scale the next day, that reaction to them, like if it's only 3 kilos, you're lucky. We're probably talking about a lot more kilos. Not necessarily body fat, but just increasing water weight, etc. That is going to hit them hard mentally. It's getting real tough at this point. Then what happens then? Oh, they feel guilty. They feel real guilty about failing. So now they need to punish themselves. So now they get into the gym to burn a crazy amount of calories. And they cut even more calories because they feel guilty from falling over this past weekend. Now all of a sudden now it gets real obsessive at this point. It's not really about health anymore. It's about punishment. And this rebound cycle now keeps going because this hyper-restrictive behavior only induces more failure and falling through and eating more carbs, and they're stuck in this vicious cycle and nothing good comes out of this. And the only person losing is the person doing it. And that person's metabolism trying to survive this hyper-restriction, oh my God, rest in peace. Metabolic adaptation. Whew. So as a general rule to this, remember, the stricter the rule around nutrition, the bigger the rebound will be. Okay? Play that back one more time. The stricter the rule around nutrition, the bigger the rebound will be. So here is the question. The question that you need to answer here with me. And this is going to give you all the answers that you need to know. Because what I said before is that the perfect diet for you is not necessarily the perfect diet for me. But the perfect diet for you is the one that you can keep doing. So if you are someone who's thinking, oh, is low carb for me because I want to lose body fat? Well, let me ask you this question. Can you maintain a low carb lifestyle for the rest of your life? And I know the answer to that question without me trying to be Mr. I know everything. I don't, but I do know society is built around alcohol, processed fats, and carbohydrates. That is a fact. And that is something that you need to manage every time you go out with friends and family again and again and again. And that is pretty much impossible to navigate for the rest of your life. So what happens when the day comes where you think to yourself, I'm just going to have some carbs tonight? Well, I'm telling you one thing, it ain't going to be pretty. It's not just some carbs, it's going to be a lot of carbs because the reality is carbs are freaking delicious. and you have carbs, you mix it with some sodium complex and some unhealthy fats, it's the best thing in the world. And once you have a taste of that, you're not going to be able to control yourself. And then we start the cycle I just explained previously. So low carb is something that will be used for people that has some sort of medical condition, or if you're in sports and you have to make a certain weight at a certain time for like a weigh-in. But is this something that we want to do in a real life? Hell no. And here's a test for you. The next time you're on social media and you see someone say like, oh, low carb, blah, 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 is the way, check it out. And there, somewhere along that process, they're going to sell you a PDF or a guide or whatever. They're going to try and make money off you. Because this has nothing to do with actual health. This has everything to do with making money. So I want to separate myself from all of these like fake fitness influencers, social media influencers that just like shits on everything without actual giving advice in real life that you can take with you. And that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to give you my take on what I think is the perfect diet for the biggest variety of people in the world, right? Who lives a normal life. This needs to be a diet that you can adhere to in social settings, that you can adhere to with a family when you are busy, when you're not busy, when you are, insert any type of life scenario. It needs to be flexible. It needs to be a diet where you can have certain foods, sometimes more, sometimes less. But it needs to operate from a balance that is your calorie balance. That is energy in versus energy out. And as long as it plays by thermodynamics and actual science and not demonization of food groups, then your chances already there are much higher. Because people don't really need less carbs. Well, they probably do because they eat like a shit diet on average. But they need structure, right? If you can have structure in your life, you can have the carbs. And I want you to understand, the carbs are great. Carbs are delicious. And carbs fuel your performance. But we don't want to overeat carbs because they also make our blood sugar go poo. And then we produce insulin. And then the body goes out of whack and the insulin sensitivity, and like there's a bunch of stuff happening. But here's what you need to understand today. If you take every single meal and start it from a base of protein, then from there, you're going to add a shit ton of veggies. And yes, you're going to add your complex carbs to it. You're going to have your bread. You're going to have your pasta. You're going to have your rice. But you know what? You're just going to keep it a little bit less than you normally would. And now you have an amazing meal where you have lean source of protein, most likely fats with that protein in the prepare process. You're going to have lots of phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals in your veggies. Your gut health, your gut microbiome is going to be happy. You're going to have your starchy carbohydrates, your complex carbohydrates. You're going to have energy. You're going to be satiated. Your body's going to get what it needs. There's going to be no demonization. And if you want to look at more specific macronutrient timing, you can keep your complex carbs around your training before and after to boost performance and increase recovery. And you can keep the more slower digesting carbohydrates for the rest of the day. But you want to have your proteins with each meal because we know that we need protein. Listen, guys, you did not quit your low carb diet because you're weak. You quit it because it's unsustainable. Carbs, they're not your enemy. They're your friend. They're your gateway to the best performance in your life. But just like with everything else, the poison is in the dose. And it's hella easy to overeat on carbs. And doing that makes you even hungrier, eating even more carbs. And that's the problem. But let me leave you with this. If your current diet makes you afraid of bread, that diet has an end date. And that end date ain't going to end well for you. And with that, I hope you achieved something. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you leave this video with an impression about nutrition that is not about being obsessive or super restrictive. It's about finding a method that works for you in your real life, because that is the thing that you can keep doing. The people with the best physiques in the world are the ones who can stick to the diet for the longest time. I had another guy comment on one of my videos the other day. He said like, no, but honestly, you're talking about this sustainable diet, but isn't it? Honestly, isn't it just a diet? And I said, no. Because once you're done something long enough, it becomes just the way you eat. It's not a diet anymore. It's just how you live. And that's the goal about all of this, is to find something that works for you in your life, where it sort of sustains your activity and how you want to look and feel. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop me a thumbs up, a comment. If there is any sort of topic you'd like to hear my take on, real life, actual, non-clinical advice, what works in real life for real people, that's what I'm all about. If you're looking for a coaching solution, I help work with people from all over the world, build muscle mass, drop body fat, build lifestyles that will take them through life looking the best and feeling the best. The link is in the bio as well. Either way, thank you so much for watching. We stand together stronger as a team. In the name of health. See you in the next one. Peace.